Do either of you know what kind of fish this is? You're right, it's a bluegill. Come up here. You can hold that fish up.
Walleye right down there.
So Will has got a bluegill for me. This is one of the fish that's most commonly caught in Minnesota, and one of the reasons is because of our fin program. We stock it. They're super fun to catch. They're easier to catch than some of the other fish, and they're kind of pretty, aren't they, Willa? She says yes. So what does that kind of look like? Does that kind of look like a...
Are you trying to get the piece of wood there?
We like to call them panfish because they like to fit in a fry pan. They're fun to catch. I like them early in the year. They're in the sunfish family. And earlier in the year, they like to build a little nest. Do you know what a fish nest is called?
A red.
Very good. So they have little reds out there. They're in shallow water, and the female comes and lays the eggs, and they'll fertilize them. Who do you think guards those eggs and raises the little babies? I think the mom or the dad does that.
The dad.
You know a lot about fish. Are you going to be a fisheries biologist when you grow up?
See one?
Was a head
Oh, no,
shaking
it's a
out of
bluegill.
verbal yes, but
Bluegill.
I like fisheries biologists. They know a lot of fun stuff about fish. So, you know what this is right here?
This is bluegill.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, you're right. It's a muskie. You can see that scar on the top of his head there. He's been here for a few years. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, where do we get all these fish? Well, they're all common fish in the state of Minnesota. Because we bring them here from different areas. Oh, I got a question. What was that question?
I don't know.
Oh, it just jumped.
Oh, that was a rainbow just jumping out of the water. That's the special fish that I trained to jump out like SeaWorld. And Will was asking about the paddlefish here. Looks like it has a big snout on it, like a canoe paddle that sticks out. It's one of our old species, kind of an ancient species of fish we have in Minnesota. I think they're super cool. Nobody ever really catches them because they're filter feeders. So they use that shovel nose to kind of stick up in the air, and you can filter all the plankton and stuff down into their mouth to eat. Another one of our ancient species are the sturgeon, the lake sturgeon. There's, looks like one coming at me. Oh, that's a muskie. It's hard to see in the shadows up here. There's some sturgeons hanging out up here. Oh, here's a sturgeon right below us. A big lake sturgeon. Oh. This one, that's a common carp. Yep. So, carp are the biggest. You know what fish family carp are in?
Minnow.
You are good. Minnow. They're the biggest of the minnow family. We can catch common carp here in Minnesota. They're one of our invasive species. But they'll grow up to like 55 pounds, I think, is the biggest carp caught, which is pretty spectacular.
Cute little fish.
I'm kind of a trout guy, though. We were talking about easements and access. And the amount of easements and access we have as a public in Minnesota is just phenomenal. It's probably the best trout fishery between the East Coast and the West Coast, Colorado, Montana. So we have a couple of trout. We got a brown trout sitting down here. Do you know why that brown trout likes to hang out in the water right there? Are you getting shy on me? That's okay. A lot of fish like to hang out right down here because there's cold water. We keep the water in about 55 degrees. It's kind of a strange mixing pot here, just like the Minnesota State Fair. Our fish pond, we have cold water species like trout that are in here, and we have warm water species like our carp and our bass that are floating around in here too. So, one of the reasons we keep our fish, I was talking about the muskie that has a scar out. He's swimming away from me straight in front of us here. He's been here for several years. We keep all these fish in a pond in a super secret location, of course, but we keep them, so they come back year after year. We have a sturgeon over here that's probably about 60 years old, probably a 40-pounder. And it brings up another really cool program we have in Minnesota. It's a catch and release, a record state record catch and release program where you can catch a fish, you take a picture of it and measurement, and you can submit that for a record. You can release it back into the stream so you don't have to kill that fish and you can keep it going. If anybody remembers earlier this year, there was a lake sturgeon caught in the St. Croix River, or also the Washington County Stillwater area. It was caught at 78 inches long. And we don't exactly know the age of that fish, but it was probably 70 to 80 years old. It's a lake sturgeon. Do you know how you tell the age of a fish?
Rings.
Rings, very good. The fish's scales grow kind of like a tree does. It develops rings. If you look under a microscope, you can get a good estimate of the age on those. You'll see some of these. You've got common carp. I'm looking for a big head buffalo. This big head buffalo in here. They're one of the older fishes we have in Minnesota. The study out of North Dakota estimated the age of one of them at 112 years old, which is pretty spectacular.
That's a guard.
These fish have been all